Hey everyone, welcome to Therapy Cove. My name is Amrita, and as you can see here today, I have my husband, Amar Sandhu. He has agreed to sit down with me and talk about some things relevant to his life journey that we both agreed maybe would be beneficial for anyone who's maybe gone through some similar things to watch and just kind of resonate with, or maybe learn some tools or resources from. So Amar, thanks for sitting down. And I know you're a private person, so maybe just right off the bat, I'll ask you, why did you decide to kind of come sit down and have this conversation here today?
Basically, it's been a few years since I wanted to get my story out and just give my advice to people.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So you had been kind of like having this mental inner dialogue for a while now, kind of sorting out and understanding your own journey. But then, of course, because of the culture we belong to, or even just Western society in general, and you being a male and everything, there's a lot of stuff that you've gone through that is maybe relatable to other guys as well. Is
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm still in my journey of self-recovery, but it's been 7 years. I'm alcohol free, and I would like to share my story and give tips to the younger generation
yeah.
and everyone else that can benefit from this.
Yeah, makes sense. So you said you're still in your journey of recovery. So would you say then, is there ever a point where you're fully sober, you've graduated, you've made it, recovery achieved, or is it like a forever ongoing process?
I think I've graduated.
Yeah,
Definitely, I've graduated.
yeah,
I can put myself out in the world.
yeah.
I can go to parties, I can go to restaurants, without any doubt that I have any alcohol.
Fair enough. Yeah. So it's been a journey and maybe you kind of leveled up in stages. But even before we get into all of that, obviously we've talked about this extensively just between the two of us. We are a married couple and we've been together for a really long time, kind of grown up together, been life partners. We have two kids together.
Absolutely, yeah.
But where would you say this all started? How did alcohol get introduced into your life, and how did it become a maladaptive negative coping strategy where you were kind of using it to maybe self-medicate?
Well, it did not start like that.
Huh.
At a young age, as you know, in our culture, in our Punjabi culture, it's in our households,
Yeah.
it's in our movies, it's in our songs. So as I was growing up as a youth in Surrey,
Yeah.
going to high school, seeing friends, seeing their older brothers, seeing what people are doing,
Yeah.
I felt like I had to be a part of that. I had to make myself fit in.
Yeah.
So for me to fit in, I felt like I had to take part
Right.
in getting myself involved in drinking
Okay.
at a young age.
So it was just really normalized, a part of socializing, and it was just not even a second thought of, do I want to do this or not? It was so much around you.
At that time, in my pre-teens, there was no education. There was no one talking about you should not be drinking, the side effects of drinking. All that we could see is just what the social aspect was,
Yeah.
that you drink, you have fun. That's all you could see as a kid.
Yeah.
That you go to parties and you see everyone just drinking, they're dancing, they're laughing, and it seems quite normalized
Positive.
in a
Yeah.
Punjabi community.
Yeah.
But there was never any teachings that there's the negative aspect of drinking, and this is what can happen to you
The
if you don't, the
consequences.
consequences
Huh.
of if you don't stop or if you don't get yourself into control.
Yeah, that it can take over your life and it's not just about having fun anymore.
Absolutely.
It can really take over and have lots of consequences to your mental health, your physical health, your social life. It really takes over. But okay, so it started as a fun thing, and at that time where you started experimenting with alcohol, you were in Khalsa school, or did that come
No,
after?
that's so. I went to Khalsa school from kindergarten to grade 7.
Right.
Khalsa school is a Sikh school
Yeah.
where we learn about Sikhi, Kirtan, Gurbani. And from the age of kindergarten and grade 7, I was very isolated at this school, and I felt like I was in a safe
Yeah, it
place.
was a private
It
school,
was a
so
private
controlled
school. I was
environment.
in an environment where everyone had a likely mindset. All the parents, teachers, everyone protected you. Everyone took care of you.
Yeah.
Grade 8, I started going to a public high school where I
Maybe
was
it's
not.
worth mentioning which one because that gives a lot of
So I went
context.
to Princess Margaret, which is in
PM.
PM, which is
Yeah.
in Surrey, British Columbia. And at that time, it was not the best reputable school
Yeah.
because a lot was going on at that time. So I went from Khalsa School to PM,
Like
which was
early 2000s.
2001 is when I started grade 8. And for me, it was a big culture shock because at Khalsa School,
You're so sheltered.
we're sheltered. We
Yeah.
wear uniforms. Everyone is similar. No one is looking at you in a different way. But when you go to high school, you go to a public place, everyone's a bit different. Everyone's trying to be
It was
cool.
like going into the jungle. It
Everyone's
was just
yeah, everyone's just
wild.
trying to fit in.
Yeah.
So for me, I was coming from a different environment. Khalsa school, a private school. Now we're coming to a public school where I can wear whatever I want.
A lot of freedom.
So
Kuli
there was
shuti.
a kuli shuti.
Yeah.
And I did not know how to adapt. I did not know what kind of clothes to wear, what kind of music to listen to. So at that time, rap music was big.
Yeah.
And, the gangster lifestyle.
It was appealing.
It was appealing. And that's what the youth was doing at that time. So I kind of got sucked into that.
Just try to be popular and fit in and follow what was mainstream at the time, which was hip hop culture. And that resonated with you and your peer group a lot. So you're having fun. So you're what, like 13, 14, 15 at this time. And when I think a key factor here, which is a big part of your story, one, you met a good friend that you clicked instantly with.
Yeah, so I came from Khalsa school in grade 8, grade 9. I made new friends. I was a funny person, so I made friends very easily. I made one really good friend. He became my best friend, and from grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, we would do everything together.
Yeah.
We started going to the gym together. He was my first gym partner. We started, working together. I used to work in Nando's Chicken in Strawberry Hill.
Yeah.
So I got a job there. I'm like, hey, let's start working together. We started working together, and then life starts happening. We started going to school dances together. We would talk on
You
MSN.
guys were like really solid best friends, like kindred spirits. Like sometimes you meet someone and you instantly mesh, and it was very clear from afar that you two were really, really solid, good best friends, and you were having a lot of fun together. You were doing all the things that adolescent boys do, maybe like sneaking out, having fun, talking to girls, drinking, just like really carving out an identity.
Yeah,
for
like I was
yourselves.
just
Yeah.
free. From coming from Khalsa school to
being very
PM,
suppressed
I
and
was
stifled.
free.
Yeah.
I leave my house in the morning and I wouldn't come till 4 or 5 p.m. at night because I would just go to school. I would do after school sports, and then I would come home. But then I would just have free time. And at that time, we,
were
great. My friend who we've been talking about, him and another friend had a wild idea. Hey, let's try drinking. So they started drinking.
Well, they were just having a night out, and one thing led to another, and they ended up in a dangerous.
Yeah, so
fatal situation.
another thing is they were only 16 years old, 17 years old at the time, where your brain is not fully developed. You're not making the wisest decisions
Yeah.
as you think you might have been. And they made a decision to drive out.
Drinking and
They
driving.
were drinking and driving, and they made a
Yeah.
decision to drive out to the highway. And
That was 2005, right? So it was the summer. I think you were going into grade 12.
we were going to grade a 12. Yes, we were.
Yeah, summer
And
senior year.
we were 17 years old, and
So you were not there. You did not go for this. It ended up claiming your best friend's life.
But
So
what
that
happened was,
yeah,
my life was, I felt like my life was in a very good situation. I was enjoying life. I had friends,
Yeah.
family, the sun was out. I was having a good time. And then the next morning,
yeah,
we got the news that something happened. And at that time, for all our friends, it was very tough.
yeah,
It was very tough to cope with what happened. Life was so great.
yes.
And for a 17-year-old kid to realize that your best friend's gone,
It's a
they ain't
lot.
coming back, it
Yeah.
was very tough.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was summer, so there was no high school. We had no counselors
No.
available.
There's no resources.
We had no resources. Our parents helped us as much as they could.
Yeah.
They told us, go to the Gurdwara, it's going to be okay. As much as they knew, they did. And I really appreciate that. But as a kid, what do? You're just crying. You're hurt. Ki ho gaya? Why? Why did this happen to us?
Yes. It's a tragedy.
I was supposed to go
It's
to
a big
work on
trauma.
Monday with my friend. We
Yeah.
were going to go watch Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It was done.
Yeah.
And
It's okay. Just take a minute.
and what happened was, weeks would go by, months would go by. Things started getting better, but you never forget, and it hurts inside.
Yeah.
And what did we know what to do? What made it feel better? It was alcohol at that time. So, our friends would get together and we would not know that, hey, this is also numbing our pain out. So, it would be the weekend, we would go out, grab some alcohol, some beers, and just start drinking. But we would not realize that inside we'd be hurting. Because, it'd be 6, 7 p.m., we're laughing and we're having a good time, but by the time we're going home, I would be crying by myself. I wouldn't know why.
Yeah. It was lots of pain, and you were just trying to escape from it.
And for being so young, you don't realize that you're just hurting and you're just kind of drinking it away.
Yeah.
And as a youth, you just want to be tough. You want to show your friends and
Especially
family,
as a guy.
yeah, that, hey, I'm okay. I'm a tough person. But, life goes on.
Yeah.
Okay. Life goes on, and it's been 20 years. And as you can see, I'm still hurt by what happened.
It was too much of a big shock, and you just miss the person.
Yeah, so at that time, we were just youth, we were teenagers. It was a really big impact to me and our friends group, and I'm sure a lot of us still, struggle with this.
You carry it, yeah.
You carry it for a long time, but basically that event happened. And over the years, I was 17, and over the years, we would just cope with alcohol.
Yeah.
And
It
it
just
would
became a
just-
domino
it became a
effect
habit.
after that.
It became a habit for many years. And then the habit started getting shown that, hey, this guy's drinking too much. I was getting lazy. I wasn't a pleasant person to be around.
Right. Well, you were hurting, so it's kind of like, it's like all of a sudden you had this massive injury. World keeps moving on around you. Life's still happening, but you're struggling and suffering. So that's what kind of ends up happening is hurt people end up hurting other people. You had this huge wound inside, didn't have any resources to heal it. So slowly that wound started consuming you, and it started to change who you were as a person. And
Yeah.
your foundation and your base, which most likely you did get from Khalsa school as well, right? Sikhi
Well,
was
I
your
had
foundation.
my
The
schooling.
pain took you away from
I had
all
my
that.
family. I had my friends.
Yeah.
That kept me up.
Yes.
And the alcohol then would bring me down.
It was too big. Of
But then
a
eventually
inner demon.
everyone would see, like, hey, you're not doing well.
Yeah.
Let's get you help.
Right.
So as a youth, I was like, no, I'm okay. I would battle that and say, no,
Denial.
I'm going to be okay. I was in denial in my early 20s.
Yeah.
My wife, she would take me to the doctor, take me to counselors. But if I did not accept that I had a problem,
Yeah.
I would not be willing to go. But I would go because she would take me. But I would not, mera man nahi hote si. I was not there.
Yeah.
And then I would do all the techniques. I would make a drinking plan. Okay, I'm going to have one today. That wouldn't work.
Right, the inner negotiation of
Right?
trying to manage.
आज नहीं मैं पीनी. I will go a few days without drinking, but then what? The day that comes, you will drink extra.
Because the
So
original wound or trauma never got tended to.
But I did not realize this till many years later. I thought I just had a
Yeah.
drinking problem.
Yes.
Then I tried this thing called Sober January. I'm sure a lot of people have tried Sober January. I tried Sober January for 5 Januaries.
Yeah.
I accomplished the Sober January.
Yeah.
But when February would
Relapse.
come, I would go twice as hard.
Yeah.
So then I would realize that, hey, that's not working for me.
Yeah.
And then one thing with me was I always had support. Hey, okay, that didn't work. Let's try something else.
Yeah.
And I had God. God was always on my side.
Yeah.
So then the decision happened, just something happened that I'm like, hey, I'm allergic. This is not something for me.
Not the right tool.
I need to take this away from me to make my environment better. And then at that time, my wife was, doing her schooling, and whatever she was learning, she was inputting on me. So, things started clicking. I also went to see a psychologist who really, really, evaluated me from when I was born till that certain point.
Yeah.
And he's the one who pinpointed a lot of things, because the things you talk at home, what your spouse tells you, what your family tells you, it doesn't go into your brain. It doesn't, it's not the same.
Yeah.
But when this external person is evaluating you and then it's coming out of their mouth, then it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That you haven't done anything wrong. You were just a youth. Something has happened to you. You weren't prepared. I'm prepared now. And I want to help you guys and the future youth generation of coping with bad times. You don't have to result with alcohol or substance.
Yeah.
You can result with family. You can result with God. Whatever you believe in, there's always another way out.
Yeah. So all those lessons that you learned, it was a work in progress. What are some key things, like you listed out going to the psychologist, Sikhi, your religious base. What were some other key things that you think really helped you make this change in your life, become sober, that it would help someone watching to follow and be like, okay, these are the steps I need to take?
I think everyone should reevaluate themselves on what's going on. Really evaluate what's going on with yourselves.
So basically hit pause on life and just take a big inventory.
Absolutely. Take a white piece of paper,
Yeah.
write all the great things in your life. Because majority of the time, people don't look at those things. They only look at what you don't have.
Yeah.
Please look at what you have, because we all have, we have families, friends, we have our health. We live in Canada, majority of us in America. We are in a safe environment. Just be appreciative of that. If you just say thank you to what you have, gratitude, you can move on and not hold on to negative aspects.
Yeah. So, okay, so you're saying just try to do a mindset shift and give yourself an awakening by putting pen to paper and just like really writing everything out. But then through the help of like a mental health practitioner, you can also understand the flip side of the paper, which is all your shadow self, all your trauma, your wounds, which is what you're trying to self-medicate and escape from, right? No one happily is drowning themselves in alcohol. There's always a reason. For you, it was grief and loss. For someone else, it might be childhood abuse or childhood trauma or neglect or abandonment wounds. Or sometimes it's a mixture, a combination of things. But regardless of what it is, you're saying just self-awareness, acknowledging all of it, not running away from it anymore. So for you as a male, that's something you overcame and you managed to change the life trajectory, right? As a father, as a partner, as a son, and just as a human, as an individual. What would you say to men who maybe they want to suppress, they don't feel comfortable being vulnerable, right? You've courageously been very vulnerable here. What would you say to men, especially Punjabi men, who don't believe that's the right way to go about things?
What do you mean by the right way?
Like in our culture, there's a lot of munde ni ronde, like be tough, don't cry, toxic masculinity. There isn't really an environment or framework for what you're discussing, which is to deal with things head on and just communicate and be open and honest with yourself. That's why the alcoholism is so prevalent in our culture. So what would you say to a guy who's really closed off from counseling, therapy, or telling their loved ones that they're struggling?
Honestly, you have to bring yourself down and let go of whatever it is. There's
Ego?
something, there's an ego in you, there's some hardship. Just remember it wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
This has happened to someone else before you and they've recovered from it.
Yeah.
So it's not your fault. You could be the strongest person,
Yeah.
the fittest person, but you come from a mother who was a soft person, and you have to remember like your roots. You have to remember where you came from.
Yeah.
It was not always tough, it was not always negative.
Right.
You have to just go back to your factory reset of what your grandparents, what your elderlies have taught you, because there's a lot of value in that. We've lost our roots.
Yeah.
But go back and get that feeling inside,
Get
because
back,
that feeling
yeah.
is only going to make you feel better.
True.
The gussa in here, this feeling down there, is not going to take you anywhere.
Right.
You have to have a nice, peaceful
Just make yourself
mindset.
a blank slate. Basically, connect with your roots and values, which we have a really strong culture, right? We have such a strong religion and culture, and there's so much resource to be borrowed from that.
There's
So you're
lots.
saying just keep it simple, get back to the basics, don't forget your roots. And that's kind of the formula to humble yourself and to just like put your ego aside and just get rid of all these damaging habits and toxic traits. Because a lot of times what ends up happening is it's your original trauma, then it's how you cope with it, then it's the byproduct of your coping, right? So then your relationships get ruined, and then you mentioned you start to own a lot of guilt and shame, and then that becomes secondary trauma because now there's the ripple effect to your actions, right? So the guilt and shame piece, what would you say about that? What would you say as to how you personally overcame the guilt and shame, and someone who's maybe doesn't want to get sober because they don't want to deal with the guilt and shame that they know is looming and hanging over their shoulder?
Yeah, absolutely. You might feel guilty. Yeah, you do. Joe, whatever you've done to yourself, to your family, your friends, you don't like what you've done, and then you're trying to drown yourself out even more
Yeah,
for
it
what
becomes
you've
a
done.
cycle.
But you have to get strong. To get strong, I went to the Gurdwara. I just said to God, I'm very sorry. I went to the Gurdwara for 365 days to get strength
Yeah.
and to ask for forgiveness and give me the power to move forward. And that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And everyone needs to believe that. Then you can move forward. You have to believe that, honestly.
Yeah, so you connected with your higher power, and that helped you release the guilt and the shame and all the stories inside. You didn't want to live the rest of your life just hanging yourself on the hook for certain decisions or what relationships had become damaged as a result of your decisions. And now you've kind of had like a rebirth or a new awakening. And what has that felt like? And what are the things that you incorporate into your life to make sure you stay on this clean path?
I'm staying on this path. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But for example, if I did not make a decision to stop drinking 7 years ago,
Yeah. We probably,
my family, my wife, we would have a different relationship. My kids, I don't even know, because I would have been a different person. They wouldn't even seen me sitting here today. But I've grown from that. I don't want to be like that.
right. And maybe even aside from like physical physique, how long can you keep going like that? It damages your organs. It was got to a very scary point where it was the question of, are you even going to be around to see your kids grow up? right?
Yeah,
So it was
exactly.
very, like, it was a very serious state that you had kind of landed in, and you did the thing, you got sober, you did the miracle occurred. But like, kind of the question that I was asking was, how do you maintain your sobriety? One thing that I know you do because we live together is gardening.
Yes. So
Yeah.
definitely, because before, when I used to drink, my only hobby was just to drink. I would be like, okay, appa jana sham nu, we're gonna go to the restaurant, go drink.
Yeah.
But when you're not doing that, you have to make a list of things. So for me personally, I actually garden. This year, I grew pumpkins, spinach, corn, tomatoes. Like, I love to garden. And on top of that, I play ice hockey.
Yes.
I go golfing.
Yeah.
I take my kids out bowling. You know, we go to the
You're a
park.
very
We
engaged
started playing
parent.
pickleball this year. So
Yeah.
you have to be engaged with yourself.
Just like living life, the
Live life.
simplicity
There's
and
no
the
need to
beauty
be
of the
sitting
simple things
inside and doing nothing and drinking. Get out in the world,
on your
do
phone.
something.
Yeah.
And yeah, the phone is a whole different topic, but you have to be physically active. And
Yeah.
I wanted to say one more thing is you have to go to the gym. If you
True.
don't go to the gym, your mental
Yeah.
health is down. The days I don't go to the gym,
Movement.
I feel my head is down, my mood is down.
Yes.
You go to the gym, you're up, you're ready,
Dopamine hit,
and it's
endorphins.
free.
Yeah.
Just go do it.
True. Yeah, any type of exercise or movement is going to benefit you. Healthy habits and fun activities. It's really kind of just like getting back to the things that you originally used to enjoy before the substance took over your life. And I think you totally like wiped your slate clean and just like went back to the basics and started living a very pure, simple, clean life. And that obviously spills over onto us as your family. But no, I think you said some really great things today. You really clicked some things into perspective. I mean, we're forever learning and evolving and growing with each other. So even as we were preparing to sit down and have this conversation, it was very helpful for me as well, because I think anyone who's the partner of someone who has severe trauma, maybe some post-traumatic stress, and then they're coping with alcohol, or even with or without the alcohol aspect, their trauma becomes your trauma too. So it can take some time for the people around you to heal as well. It's like a drowning person. What ends up happening is they accidentally take people around them under as well. So it's been a journey, both individually for you, but also us as a couple, as two people just doing life together and growing and learning along the way. But I really appreciate you doing this. I know you're a really private person. You don't even have social media. So the fact that you agreed to sit down and do this, I know you're motivated by your passion and genuine care for your fellow person, for your community. So thank you for doing
Yes,
that.
thank you very much. And I want to say thank you everyone for watching. One last tip I would like to give is to bring alcohol awareness into your household. Talk about it with your kids, talk about it with your elders. Just open that mindset. Like 20, 30 years ago, people used to smoke in airplanes, they used to smoke inside their house. Transition happened.
Yeah.
Same thing here. You got to transition.
Yeah.
Bring the topic out, start talking about it, the negative aspects, and let's move forward and get sober.
Yeah, excellent closing note. I think you spoke very well, explained things excellently. I hope you guys found value in our conversation here today. It's always a bit funny sitting down with like the closest person in your life and talking about these really vulnerable things, but I think both of us share the life purpose of just wanting to make a difference in our community, wanting to help anyone that we possibly can. Even if one person benefits from watching this, then we'll be happy with making this decision to have this conversation here today. If you or anyone you know is struggling and needs support, please pause the video and just take a look at these resources here. You are not alone. There's always people who care and genuinely want what's best for you. And sometimes you just need someone to hold your hand and guide you out of that really dark period of your life. Nothing is set in stone. Our brains are so malleable. They're like Play-Doh. You can always rewire if the wiring has gone a certain way that isn't benefiting you or your loved ones. As usual, thank you everyone for watching. See you next time.